Welcome to this week's edition of the Coaches Show. We've got basketball, baseball, and softball all on tap this week. But joining me first, as always, is our head women's basketball coach, Dr. Britta Belanger. Coach, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Coach, obviously you've gone 1-1 in your last two since we've last talked. You beat Coahoma on Saturday at home. You dropped a really close, almost heartbreaking game against Pearl River, 49-46 on the road. We'll go back to this past Saturday. A tale of a heartbreaking game against Pearl River. This one was a thriller against Coahoma because it came literally down to the last shot, 63-62 against Coahoma. Talk about how well your girls played in this one and how they were able to sneak out a win on this one.
Yeah, really proud to get a win. You know, we had some rust. We had not played in 7 days because of the weather, because of our schedule. That Coahoma game, we had not played in 7 days. So I knew coming out early it was going to be hard to score, and we did have trouble scoring early. And then once we got going, we really got going. You know, I think we took a 9 or a 10-point lead into halftime. We came out after the half. We had as much of like a 14-point lead, and late in the game, Coahoma started shooting it really well and made a run, and we had to get a defensive stop at the very end of the game to win the game. So, you know, one thing I'll say about that Coahoma team, and one thing I noticed in watching film and things, they're a very tough, very gritty team, and I thought that was going to cause us problems, and it did, because they never quit, they never gave up, and they never died, and we didn't either. We continued to fight and battle until the end. So really proud of our bigs in this game. I don't know that the stat sheet showed how many points they necessarily scored, but their defensive effort and the amount of blocks that they got really made a huge difference in this game down the stretch.
You look at the line score, you outscored them to 11-7 in the first quarter, 19-12 in the second quarter, so you're up 32-19 at halftime, so an 11-point lead. They outscored you 21-15 in the third and 22-18 in the fourth. Thankfully for us, they needed 23 points to force overtime. They only had 22. You look at the individual scores right here. Cam Pruitt led the way, had a double-double, 14 and 10. That 10th rebound came on that very last play when she grabbed that defensive rebound and smothered the ball. 13 points for Imani Key, a big thing for her in this one. 7 assists. I think she would, every pass she made in this one led to points at some point. Had a really good game there. You just mentioned it, the performance of your post players as far as blocking. Jalen Applewhite only had 3 points, but 6 blocks. Every one of them were huge. Zion Nelson had 6 points and 3 blocks. You also had Tyra Johnson, who had 6 points and 2 blocks. You had 11 blocks in this game. If you have double-digit blocks in a game, I think you like your odds of being able to win it.
Yeah, I don't know in my career if we've ever had double-digit blocks in a game, and so that was a huge thing. Again, what those players do doesn't always necessarily show up on the stat sheet, but just their size, their sheer ability to affect people's shots makes a difference, because it makes their shooting percentage lower. Imani Key has been a consistent scorer for us all year, so people know that, and her ability to get 7 assists allows her to bring something to the table. Maybe they're really guarding her or trapping her on ball screens, and now her ability to pass sets other people up. I can remember some of those passes that she made, especially to Tyra Johnson early in the first half, and there were 1 or 2 that I went, wow, I don't know how she made that play. So really good play. So really proud of that effort. Cam has been a constant double-double for us all season, and we need her to continue to be that way. But we need those people to come off the bench and spark us and bring things that don't necessarily show up on the stat sheet to help us win, and I think we had a lot of that in this game. I think this was a game also that everyone that we put in off the bench scored points, and we need those contributions. 2 points makes a huge difference. 2 assists, 2 rebounds, all those little things make a huge difference for this team. And I think our team is built on that. We have a lot of depth, and everybody can bring something to the table.
Yeah, and then you go again to this past Monday. You dropped this one 49-46. A little bit of a slow start. Didn't shoot it as well as I think you'd like. But your thoughts overall on this one and how it feels like you had a chance at this one if you played just a little bit better, you might at least get into overtime. Don't know if you'd win it in overtime, but hey, you give yourself a really good chance if you get into overtime.
Yeah, overall, I was really proud of our effort at Pearl River. After the game, I looked at Coach Ray and I said, I don't know that we can guard any better than what we guarded in that game. The whole team. When you hold a team to 49 points, you are supposed to win ball games. However, when you're ice cold shooting and we shot 15% from the 3-point line, it's very difficult to win. I felt like we shot it very poorly from the field, and we didn't get a lot of second chance opportunities, which again makes it very difficult to win the game. Pearl River's a good team. They're one of the top teams in our league, and so this is encouraging to me because we were able to play so well against them on their home floor on tired legs. We had played on Saturday a really tough opponent in Coahoma. On Sunday, there was very little we could do in practice other than walk through and talk and shoot. So we didn't have the prep time against Pearl River that we normally would have. So I was encouraged by that. I was encouraged by our tenacity, our ability. At one point, they got up about 8 or 10, and every time they would get a lead, we found a way to chip our way back and find our way back. So really proud of that. And I told our team after the game, I said, you're going to see them again. And we are going to see them again. And let's hope we see them again in the Final Four. Even if it's on their home floor, I like our chances if we have prep time and things like that.
You look at the line score in this one, they outscored you just 10-7 in the first quarter. This will be a running theme. There was only one quarter where anybody scored above 15 points in this one. They outscored you 14-10 in the second. You outscored them 13-11 in the third and 16-14 in the fourth quarter. There's your 15-plus point quarter in this one. So that's just a hallmark of how much of a defensive battle this one is. No one even thought about sniffing a 20-point quarter. You usually see maybe one of those a game, but neither side gets it there. On the personal end, the only player we had in double digits was Cam Pruitt. She had 11 and 8. Rebounds, Akilah Hobson had 8 points. Imani Key and Maddie Mitchell both had 6 points as well. So, everybody contributed, just maybe not at the same level that we're used to. And that just is, again, a hallmark of this was a defensive battle.
Yeah, it's very difficult to win games when you only have one player score in double figures. I will say Amari Barnes was a huge spark for us off the bench. She came in that first half. She hit a big three. She got some huge offensive rebounds. I just felt like her spark in that first half kind of gave us something that we were missing and pushed us to keep it close there. I thought Akilah Hobson, Imani Key, and Maddie Mitchell defensively, they were outstanding. We held their best player who averages 20 points a game to 0 points. She was 0% from the field. That's a huge deal when those players did that. Not only were they able to do that, but our posts, their ability to hedge and get back, helped those guards be able to do that. So those are things we can build on moving forward. And I told him at the end of the game, we don't want to be playing our best basketball right now. We want to play our best basketball in March. So we're finally to the team we were before we left for the break. We're playing good basketball, and we've just got to continue to build on those things.
And now you turn the page, you look ahead. You're going to host Meridian this Thursday. It's going to be our annual Pink game. We're going to have a lot of fun with that as well, too. What do we know about the Lady Eagles coming in this one? I know right now they're sitting above us in the standings. I think they're playing pretty well. They've had some really good wins, but what do you know about them coming into that one?
Yeah, we're excited about Thursday night. We've got brand new pink uniforms that were donated by Elite Custom Wear, one of our sporting goods dealers. So we're excited to break those out and let people see our new pinks. It's something we've wanted for a long time. I think we're going to have our hands full with Meridian. They've been playing extremely well. They've had a lot of injuries, much like us. We've had a lot of injuries. They really only play 5 players most of the game. They have 8 or 9, and they'll sprinkle in their subs. But for the majority of the game, they play 5 players. They like to play fast. They play kind of an unconventional, really wide, really high 2-3 zone. And so my fear is, much like the Pearl River game, we start settling for early threes, and we're not hot, and we don't shoot them well, and we don't get a lot of offensive rebounds. So that's one thing we've talked about a lot in practice this week is we can't settle for quick early threes. We've got to play inside out. Get the ball inside, then we kick it out, and we've got to have 4 offensive rebounders and 1 safety every time. So I think we'll have our hands full. I think Meridian's going to have their hands full with us because if we can guard at the level that we've been guarding, they're going to have trouble scoring points against us.
And then on Monday, you're going to go on the road, make that hour-and-a-half trip over to Jones. You're going to play the Bobcats on Monday at 5:30. What do we know about that bunch? I know this is a team that, the last couple of years they haven't played as well. This year they're playing really well. Mm-hmm. Coach Whitman, first-year coach, has got her team playing really well, especially heading late into the season.
Yeah, I don't know a ton about them, I'll be honest. I don't look ahead a whole lot. They've been playing pretty well. They got beat against Northeast the other night at home. That was a little bit of a shock to all of us in the league because Northeast is kind of at the bottom of the league. But I think that's one thing about our league, too. Anybody can beat anybody on any night. Again, I haven't looked a whole lot at them. I'll look at them. Let's beat Meridian, and then we'll move on to that one. Any road game is going to be tough. I know they're a mature team. They're like us. They've got 8 or 10 sophomores, and when you have that many sophomores, you have maturity, and you have an understanding of how this league works. So I think that'll be, challenging because they're sophomores. I think our team will be dialed up for this one because they know all the kids on their team. They've played against them in high school. They follow them. They're friends with them. They know who they are. So I think we'll be ready for that one at Jones. I'd much rather it be in Mullen than going to A.B. Howard. I've played a many a game in A.B. Howard, and they don't always go your way. But this year, let's try to go get one our way.
Well, it's one thing I can say. They'll have at least one friendly face. I'm going to make the trip over, go home a little bit, get to see my parents at that one as well, too. I'm excited about going on that one with you. So lots of exciting things happening for the Lady Wolves. Hopefully the next time we talk to you, we're talking about 2 more wins and moving closer into the postseason. You're looking at it. You've got about a month left in the season. You're right in the middle of the pack. I think about 6 or 7 standing wise. How are you feeling heading into this final month of the season? Do you like where the team's headed, and do you like what you're seeing right now out of them?
Yeah, I love where we are right now. We're kind of in a ball. Everybody in the league is kind of in a pack. And if you look at the standings, we're really only 1 game out of second place. We're 1 win away from second place. If it finished today and we had to do tiebreakers, we may not be in second, but we're one game away from that. And that's what I keep telling our team. Just keep winning and it'll fall into place. Our goal is to host a home playoff game. We'd love to finish in that 1-4, but if we can't finish 1-4, we need to finish 5-8 so we can play on our home floor and then move forward in the playoffs. But I'm really happy with where we are. You know, I wish we could have that Holmes game back that we lost in overtime. That one hurt us a little bit. I wish we could have the Itawamba game back. That one hurt us a little bit too. But overall, I'm very happy with where we are. But we've got to find a way to continue to get some wins so we can stay in the top of the league.
All right, sounds good. So again, Lady Wolves go 1-1 across their last two, beat Kahoma 63-62, drop one to Pearl River 46-49. They'll host Meridian this Thursday, go on the road to Jones on Monday. 5:30 tips for both of those. If you can't make it to either game, we'll have the streaming information for you as it's available to us. Stick with us after the break. We've got men's basketball, baseball, and softball all coming after this. Welcome back in. Thanks for sticking with us through the break. And join me now, as promised, is our head men's basketball coach, Randy Bolden. Coach, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
And, Coach, obviously, you guys went 1-1 over the last two, but I think despite a road loss, I think you really like how your guys played in these last two, and I think you'd argue this road loss was probably your best road effort since your win against East Mississippi.
Well, yeah, I agree. I thought in the first half we came out a little sluggish and dug ourselves a hold in the first half against Pearl River. And I know I'm skipping on my head, but I thought in the second half of that game, I thought our guys competed and gave us ourselves a chance to win.
Yeah. So before we talk more about that Pearl River game, we'll go back to this past Saturday. You hosted Kahoma. You won that one 78-62. And, you know, I think if we're honest, that game doesn't even feel as close as that scoreline says it was. You know, you look at it and you outscored them 34-21 in the first half, 44-41 in the second half. Your thoughts overall on how your guys played and how they were really able to keep Kahoma kind of at an arm's distance for most of this game?
Well, we were kind of, a little on edge because we had been off so long, 7 days. But I thought we came out in the first half and we were aggressive offensively, and I thought we saw some shots go down, and we were able to pick up. Our defense intensity was really good, and we were able to establish a lead in the first half.
And you look at it, Tyrell Bowles just missed a double-double on this one, 22-9. And I'll say this much, the most important stat line when you look at Tyrell's is that field goal percentage. I've been involved with college basketball a long time. You've been involved for college basketball for a long time. I don't know that I've ever seen anybody go perfect from the field. 7 for 7 from the field, 8 of 12 from the line. A phenomenal shooting night for Tyrell. And again, that 7 for 7, you may never see it again.
Absolutely. I mean, and he's been efficient for us all year. The only thing problem I have with Tyrell, we got to get those attempts up. I mean, I would like for him to shoot the ball more. We need him to touch the ball as many times as possible for us to be successful. So, but he did a really good job that night. He was very efficient, 7 for 7, and that's what he's been doing for us all year, just being a solid player for us.
17 points and 7 rebounds from Mustafa Salik, another player that played really well for you. Morris Hammond had 9 points and 3 rebounds. Tristan Lucas with 9 points and 3 rebounds as well, too. A lot of guys really contributed in this one, and you really had to lean on a lot of guys. Yeah, this game, I think I joked with you after. I said this game felt like a war of attrition. I think there were something like 53 fouls called in this one. We had 4 guys with 4 fouls. At one point, you're trying to do offense, defense to keep some guys off the court, and both of them are out there with 4 fouls. We had 3 guys with 4 fouls on the court at one time. Just a little bit craziness, but I think your guys overcame that adversity and really found a way to win.
Absolutely, we were in foul trouble early, but guys came off the bench and they contributed. And when our bench is playing well, we're a really good team, and you saw that on that Saturday, how good we are when everybody is playing their role and doing what they're supposed to do.
And then you go to this past Monday, you went on the road. We briefly talked about it a moment ago. You lose this one to Pearl River 67-59, but this is a game that was much closer than that 8-point line says it was. They outscored you 38-26 in the first half. You actually outscored them 33-29 in the second half. And as I was mentioning just a few moments ago, you won the second half, but unfortunately you didn't win it by more than you lost the first half. And anytime on the road when you've got to dig yourself out of a double-digit hole, that makes it really tough.
Yeah, I think, this one stings a little bit because I know we had our opportunity. We had our chances to win down the stretch, and that's all you want to do on the road, have a chance. And we felt like we let it slip away late in the second half. But, again, the game was won in the first half. We dug ourselves a big hole. We turned the ball over more than we would care to turn it over in the first half. And you look at the game, we missed free throws down the stretch and some layups I thought we should have made that kind of hurt us. But all in all, our guys competed hard, and we gave ourselves a chance, and I was pleased with their efforts.
Yeah, 13 points from Moo and Mo, 9 from Tyrell, and 7 each from Coy and Dylan, and 8 from Caleb Crozier. So again, guys that we're used to talking about really feeding those points and feeding those lines. And again, it really feels like we talk about this kind of every week now. Morris Hammond is really a guy who's really figuring out. He's really coming along. He had a very impressive dunk against Kahoma. Another game where he's in double digits. Yeah. He's always flirting with that double-digit line here lately. But that's a guy who's really, as the season has progressed, you really see the buy-in, and he's doing whatever you need him to do. And whatever you ask him, he's like, yes, Coach, I'll do it.
Yes, Mo is our guy that we felt like he could be a guy that could come in off the bench and be a spark plug for us, as well as he's a tremendous defender. So Mo is one of those guys, he does whatever it takes to win, and you can see over the course of this season how much his game has grown and blossomed. And I think that the latter part of this season, you'll see him continue to get better.
Yeah. So now we turn our attention to the couple you've got upcoming. You'll have your first one this Thursday. You're hosting Meridian. What do we know about the Eagles coming into this one? Glad to be back in the friendly confines of Mullen Gym, where the Wolves really play well. But what do we know about the Eagles coming in?
I think their talent and how hard they play doesn't reflect their record. They do a good job there in every ball game. So. Coach Spoon does a good job with them. They're hard-nosed, just like he used to play. They're going to guard you. They're going to rebound at basketball, and they're going to make it. They're going to try to score in that paint. So we got to try to keep them out of the lane and rebound the basketball and just try to execute down the stretch. And if we can do those things, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, and for those of you at home, if you wondered, did you hear Coach Bolden right? He did say Coach Spoon. That is in reference to USM great Clarence Weatherspoon. So it'd be good to see Coach Spoon come over here to Mullen. It'd be nice to see him again. And I saw him when he was with Jones and those kind of things. But then good segue here. Monday, we're going to go to a place that you and I are pretty familiar with. You're going to go over to Jones and play the Bobcats, a team that's playing really well, and they play really good at home. But what do we know about them heading into that one?
Well, I mean, of course, they're a really good team. Of course, they're coming off 2 losses back-to-back. But, they're still a good team, and they're, I think, ranked number 19 in the country. So, but again, if we just want to give ourselves a chance to win, and I think we like our chances. They're really good. They're well coached. But we feel like we have if we go do the things that we know we're capable of doing, we like our chances on Monday.
Yeah, and Coach, obviously you got a little bit of about a month left in the season. You're sitting pretty good in conference. Yeah. You've got yourself in a nice little position right here for postseason play. With a month left, how are you feeling about how the guys are going right now?
Well, we just gotta turn up momentum now. This is the time of year you want to start to play your best basketball. So we're figuring we're hopefully we figured some things out, and now we can get rolling. We want to try to get on a winning streak here and get going, and I think we're right there. So we just gotta just keep it in the road and keep continuing to get better each day.
Yeah, the good thing is, as I mentioned a second ago, best effort on the road since you played at East Miss. Good news is no more 4-hour bus rides. So you got to like your odds of being able to have some better efforts on the road as well, too. So, again, that'll wrap up the men's basketball segment. Lots of good things happening for the Wolves. They win against Kahoma 78-62, drop one to Pearl River 67-59. They're back at home against Meridian on Thursday, and then they'll go to Jones and play the Bobcats on February 16th on the Monday. 7:30 tip-off for both of those. Of course, if you can't make it out, we'll give you the streaming information as we have it available. I'll actually be on the road with them on Monday, going back home. Gonna go see some friendly faces and have some fun over there. But hopefully we're coming away with a couple of wins as well, too. So stick with us through the break. We've got softball and baseball after this.
At Capaya Lincoln Community College, you'll find a family of instructors and staff who truly care about your success, and not to mention a really fun college experience too. Co-Lin was recently ranked number 1 in the state for student success. So whether you need to start or finish your college degree, take classes on one of our 3 campuses or online, Co-Lin is the place to be.
Thanks for sticking with us through the break. And join me now, as promised, is our head softball coach for the first time this season, Coach Howard. Thanks for joining me.
Glad to be here.
And Coach, obviously, you played this past opening weekend. You went down to Panama City Beach, played in a tournament. We've never really participated in the PCB JUCO Showdown, and I think you would say you'd agree. You had a fairly good weekend. You went 3-1. That one was the one loss was the last one. Leaves a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth because team didn't play up to what they're capable of, I think. But your thoughts overall on the weekend?
I mean, I was pleased. Like you said, first time for us to go to that tournament. Played some quality teams. So it was good to get on the road and play against some good opponents and just kind of get ready for the upcoming season. But 3-1, I mean, obviously you want to be happy about that, and we are, but I feel like we got to be a little bit better moving forward.
Yeah, and you look at it. You played on Friday. Your first one over there was against Roane State. Came out really strong in this one. You won it 6-2. There was no score until the third inning. You scored 4 in the third behind the strength of a 3-run home run from Stella Roberts. They scored 2, and that was their only 2 of the game in the third, and that made it 4-2 at that point. 1 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth. One of those runs was a solo home run by Breely Phillips. I believe that may have been the 5th inning score as well too. But that's how you get that 6-2. 6 runs on 10 hits up and down the board. You've got people all over it. Breely Phillips was a perfect 4 for 4. Ayardi Van Blaircom was 2 for 4, a hit each from Stella Roberts, Morgan Chisholm, Annie Poole, Addison Lindley. So names that a lot of Lady Wolves softball fans are familiar with, but a few new ones sprinkled in there as well too.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely going to see some familiar names this year, but also along with some new ones. We have 9 sophomores and 14 freshmen. Mm-hmm. So, we have a ton of athletes, so the lineup could change from game to game.
And talk about the performance of your starting pitcher in this one, Ava Browder. This is one of those freshmen we just talked about. Gives you a complete game in this one. Gave up 2 earned runs on 5 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. I believe both the runs were scored on a 2-run home run as well too. So, but a pretty solid line for Ava's first start.
Yeah, Ava did well. I was proud of her for getting that first win under her belt. Only up from here, though. We have high expectations. We expect her to do really well. So I am proud of her for getting that first win.
And then you go on and you play Pensacola State College. This is a team that on the D1 side is usually a perennial power. They're usually in that national tournament mix. They've been there in the past. We've seen that logo and their name be mentioned there. You win this one 3-2. This was a tightly contested ball game. They went up 1-0 in the second. You scored 2 in the third, took the lead. They tied it in the fourth, and then you scored 1 in the fifth, and then really just kind of stagnated their offense after that. You got hits from Breely Phillips, Ayardi Van Blaircom, Morgan Chisholm, Annie Poole, Aliana Houston, Noelle Leish, all got you hits in this one. One person that I think we definitely need to talk about is Aliana. She got you that go-ahead run by reaching on an error, the run scored. But the biggest play was the next inning. She has a ball hit to her, and she hoses what would have been the tying run at that point. And really, it kind of felt like that took all the momentum from the Pirates and really gave it all back to your team.
For sure. Ollie come up big right there. Even though it was an error, she made something happen in the moment. And, like I said, we have a bunch of athletes, a bunch of newcomers, so the lineup could change from game to game. But, we expect to see that when they get out on the field, hey, this is what I can do. And Ollie showed. And,
talk about the performance of your pitcher in this one, Addison Lindley, another complete game performance out of a pitcher. 7 hits, only 2 runs. Both of those were earned, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, a very solid performance from Addison. This is a pitcher you and I have talked about. She was here last year. She got a start last year against Northwest Florida State, made a couple of other appearances. She's one of your 2 sophomores who, you're going to have to rely on them. Even though they don't have a lot of game experience, she really stepped up for you in this moment.
Yeah, Addie knows that, she knows what she has to do this year. And she's worked really hard in the offseason, and I think she's ready, and I'm excited to see what she's going to do for us this season.
And then you fast forward to this past Saturday. This was the day that you split. You started it off with a come-from-behind win against Wabash Valley. You scored 1 in the first. They responded with 3 in the bottom of the first, really took advantage of an error by by our bunch as well in this game to score those. You scored 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, 1 in the seventh, and they responded with 1 in the bottom of the seventh. But again, your bunch was able to overcome some adversity in this one, find a way to win. A couple of hits from Breely and Yari, a hit from Emily Williams, a hit from Addison Lindley, 1 from Noelle Leish. And that is it on this one. The 2 hits from Yari, though, those were probably 2 of the biggest ones. Her first 2 career home runs. I think when I was posting on Twitter, I said Yari hit her first one, and then I said deja vu strikes again because she hit another one. And then a name that we haven't talked a lot about, you and I have talked about her, Noelle Leish. She kind of got the scoring started for you because she hit a solo bomb. I told you I was sitting at home, and when I saw that she hit that one, I probably yelled the loudest I've yelled for one player because it's nice to see that it's all coming together for her.
Yeah, well, Noelle's one that crept in there on defense a lot for us last year, late in games, because of how good she is defensively. She's playing center field for us this year, and she is phenomenal out there. She makes some incredible plays, but she is getting a bat this year, and I think the more reps she gets, I think she's gonna really earn her spot there. And she's just another athlete, and talking about Yachty, same thing. Hey, if you can hit, we will find a spot for you. So.
And talk about your performances of your pitchers. You had to use 3 in this one. Lily Crum got the start, got a no decision. She gave up 3 runs. 2 of those were earned on 2 hits and had 3 walks in an inning. Maddie West came in and gave you probably the best appearance she's given you in a Lady Wolves uniform. 4 2/3 scoreless, 4 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. Addison Lindley got a save with 1 1/3, gave up 1 earned run on 2 hits. Just an all-around great job by your pitchers in the circle in this one.
Yeah, and Lily's another freshman, just trying to put her in the spot and, just get her out there, get those innings under her belt. And not the best start for Lily, but she will overcome it and she'll learn from that. But I was really proud of Maddie for coming in and stepping up and shutting things down. And, Maddie, another one, didn't get a lot of playing time last year, but she's going to be out there this year, and I'm excited to see what she's going to do.
Yeah, and now, unfortunately, we got to talk about the one loss in this one. And this one, you and I talked, and I know this is not something that you'll hide behind, but, in the spirit of transparency, we'll tell folks, Lady Wolves were a little dinged up with a little bit of a bug over the weekend, had to deal with some illness and those kind of things. So it feels like maybe everything kind of caught up. It was your last game, a quick 24-hour turnaround and playing that many games. Again, your bunch, and you will not hide behind that.
Absolutely
but
not.
It's the truth of the matter, too. And you don't want to say that's what caused this 10-2 loss.
Well, this weekend we were definitely under the weather as a team. Half of our starters were sick, but they pushed through. And for me as their coach, for them to say, I don't want to sit out, I want to push through, I'm okay, I'm going to do this. I was proud of that. That shows a lot of toughness, and that's what it's going to take to do what we need to do this season. So I was proud of that. But yes, indeed, we were definitely not healthy. 4th game weekend, under the weather, but not an excuse. If you say you can play, then we got to bring it. But we're gonna overcome it, and we'll be fine.
The one thing you'd say about this one, it happened. It was a 10-2 loss. Your 2 runs did come off a 2-run home run from Morgan Chisholm. Your pitchers in this one, You used Ava Browder, Maddie West, Addison Lindley. All of them gave up at least 1 run. Ava gave up 6 of them, only 4 of those were earned because of an error in that first inning.
Yep.
And that's kind of where everything felt like it maybe came off the wheels for you. That first inning when they scored 3, it just felt like, y'all know that you probably should have allowed them to score 1, but when they come away with 3, it just kind of feels like all the momentum was on their side.
Yeah, and a healthy Wolfpack softball team, I think, fights back a little bit harder, but we were definitely down, and I told them, I said, we're going to chalk this one up on us not being 100% because we will see them again, and we're planning to see them again, and we'll bring our A game next time. Yeah,
and that's the beauty of it is, early in the year, you can take one like that. The circumstances be different at the end of the year. You look forward to that rematch. Excuse me. So now we turn the page and we go to this upcoming weekend. Again, another weekend when you're going to be on the road. Back to a tournament we're a little bit familiar with, the Coyote Classic over at Gulf Shores, Alabama. You're going to play 4 games, again, back-to-back days, 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday. You got 2 on Friday against Lamar State, College Park Arthur, and Southern Union State. What do we know about those 2 teams heading into this one?
Well, both Division I JUCOs. So once again, the quality opponent is there. We have to bring it. One thing about making the schedule this year, it was, hey, we have got to prepare ourselves for a tough conference because our conference is tough. And I think that's what we have to keep in mind when we go play these games is like we're preparing for conference. we've got to play tough opponents.
And then obviously on Saturday, you'll play Coastal Alabama North, and then a team that you're a little familiar with because you just beat them this past weekend, Pensacola State. So what do we know about Coastal North heading into this one? And obviously we don't have to talk much about the Pirates because we've already talked about them once, and you know what to expect out of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think Coastal Alabama North is going to be another team that we have to bring it if we want to win, So just excited to get back on the field and see what the girls can do, and hopefully we're all 100% healthy and ready to go.
Yeah. And then that highly anticipated home opener against Baton Rouge on February 18th. Hopefully we'll get to talk to you about that one before we play that one, but if not, we'll definitely talk about it with you the next time we see you. But again, it's just thoughts overall on that opening weekend. I know talking to you felt like maybe offensively we weren't there. Again, maybe you can contribute that a little bit to the bug and being under the weather and those kind of things. But I think overall you like what you saw out of your team.
Oh, definitely. I think defensively, if you come and watch us play, you're going to be like, wow, we're going to make a lot of plays that you don't think we're going to make plays on. So very athletic, defensively, we're very solid. I think our pitchers are going to do what they got to do. The one thing that I told our team is, hey, our at-bats and our hitting has got to step up a little bit. So they know that and they agreed with that. But we're going to run the bases really well, and we're going to do all those things. So we're going to be fun to watch.
All right. Well, Coach, thanks for joining me. We look forward to it. Again, the Lady Wolves go 3-1 on the opening weekend, win their first 3, drop the last one to St. Johns River. Have 4 more coming up this weekend, all at Gulf Shores. Friday, Lamar State College, Port Arthur, and Southern Union State. Southern Union, one of those D1 teams that made to the national tournament last year, so that tells you that quality of opponent. Saturday, Coastal Alabama North and Pensacola State. And then the Wolves will be home on February 18th for their home opener. Stick with us through the break. We got baseball after this. Find out how the Wolves have done in their 4-game set against the Dolphins after this break.
When you give to the Co-Lin Foundation, your support directly benefits Co-Lin students, faculty, and staff. Whether it's by providing scholarships for students, professional development opportunities for faculty and staff, or technology and campus upgrades, we need your support. Giving to Co-Lin offers the best value for your money as a donor. With low administrative spending and overhead, we can use your donations in tangible ways that benefit students right now. Join us as we back the pack by giving today.
Welcome back in. Thanks for sticking with us. And join me now for our final segment of this week's show is our head baseball coach, Kyle Flessner. Coach, thanks for joining me.
I appreciate it.
Coach, obviously you went 3-1 across your last 4 against Delgado. Talk about that 4-game series and how you feel going 3-1. Obviously you would have loved to go 4-0, but a couple of these games you look at them and go, easily could have been the opposite way, and you could have gone 1-3. So I think you'll take 3-1 easily.
Well, yeah, that's a really good ball club that Delgado has this year. One, they didn't beat themselves. I thought a lot of things fell our way in game 1, 12-2. We love to see that, but we know that Delgado is a better team than that, and they showed it in game 2. I was proud of our guys for just being able to continue to fight and hold themselves to a good standard, not be satisfied with where they're at.
Yeah, you talk about the first games on Sunday. You win the first one 12-2, and I think people see that and they go, "What happened?" And we'll talk about it in a second. But an 8-run second inning can help a lot of things. You scored 1 in the first, took an early lead. They tied it with 1 in the second, a solo home run off of Jennings Kimbrell. And then, like I just mentioned, that second inning, the 8-run offensive explosion. You had a 2-run inside the park home run from Avery Griffin. Right after that, Trey Davidson got into one and popped it over center field. And later on in that inning, John Mark Grissom had reservations for 3 that there was no doubt. I jokingly told you, I think the only person in the stadium who didn't know that ball was gone was Bradley Hanlon because he started to go back to second base on the ball. So that has that 8-run inning right there. They scored 1 in the 4th, and then you responded with 3 in the 4th as well too, and then kept them scoreless in the 5th, and you ended that game early 12-2. But just talk about that one and talk about how fun it was to see the guys really come alive during that game.
Yeah, well, big thing of it. One thing we've tried to stress the whole time is control what you can. We got to control what we can. We control our effort, our energy in the game. And if we're able to get up on people, our goal is to be able to play downhill and try to bury teams, because Delgado's a team, if you let them hang in it, they're going to stay right in it, and they're going to give themselves a shot. So I was proud of our guys of, first of all, throwing up zeros after that 8 spot. That was the biggest, I think, point for us.
And you look at this, Trey Davidson and Bradley Hanlon, both 3 for 3 in the game. Bryson Jones, Donovan Moore, Jacob Chancellor, all with 2 hits apiece. Avery Griffin with a hit, John Mark Grissom with a hit, Evan Holyfield as well, too. So up and down the lineup, everybody but one of your starters gets a hit in this one. Trey Davidson, we talked about it last week during the show, but Trey Davidson, 3 for 3 in this one. This finished out a week, these two games. He went 13 of 15. He had a stretch where he had 9 straight hits. I tell people, I said the only 2 times that he didn't get out was the strikeout that before that 9 straight hit started and the strikeout afterwards. The only 2 times he didn't get on base, he struck out. So he was just playing with not just his hair on fire, his whole body on fire, it felt like.
No, he's just the definition of a ball player. That's really the only way you can describe him. There's, I'm sure, so many compliments you could say about the lineup up and down, but our goal is just to be tough to play. And so I think we dropped a really good bunt to start the game, just to really set the tone, to let them know, hey, we're going to be able to attack you a lot of different ways, and tip of the cap to our guys for that.
Yeah. And you look at the pitching match, or the pitchers that you brought in this one. Jennings Kimball, 3 1/3, 4 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. That was 11 strikeouts on the week for Jennings. Jokingly say Jennings is not a strikeout pitcher. He's averaging almost 2 strikeouts per inning he's pitched right now. MT Breland comes in, gives you 2/3, gave up a hit and a strikeout. Ty Blakeney came in, scoreless, gave you an inning and 1 walk right there. And both of MT and Ty both did really well for you. Ty was a little shaky when he first came in, I thought, but then when he locked it in, you can see the stuff from the left side is phenomenal.
Yeah, well, it's a couple of firsts getting out of the way with MT. He had his welcome to college baseball moment. The first pitch he threw ended up in the left center gap, and all you can do is laugh at him a little bit, and he settled right in and got himself a big strikeout. And then Ty, I think I'm to blame a little bit for that. He didn't get to quite warm up in the pen because we were planning to go back with MT, but getting in the run rule, I wanted to make sure to still get his inning, so he kind of got rushed in there, and he settled right in after those first 4 pitches. So.
And then you fast forward to the second game. This was a 6-5 ball game, and really it didn't get 6-5 until the very end for us. They scored 2 in the first, 1 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, and it was 5-0 at that point. And your guys had some opportunities throughout that. You just couldn't string those together. You had a leadoff walk or hit by pitch. That runner got thrown out. Then your next batter, Avery Griffin, draws a walk. He gets thrown out to end an inning. And you didn't get your first hit in this one until the 3rd inning. I jokingly tell people, we finished this game with 12 hits. We didn't have one until the 3rd inning. Yeah. We only had 3 off the first arm we saw. And thankfully, Coach Sherman changed pitchers. And I think you told me when you guys realized that, they were kind of celebrating at that point well, too.
You could see a breath of fresh air happen in our dugout. And that's going to happen early in the season. Pitch counts come in. We'll take our guys out a little bit earlier. We'll be able to start stretching them out towards the middle of the season. But one thing, with that guy staying in or not, our guys were still competing as best as we could. I could never complain about the energy in our dugout, about the competitive nature, and we had a few things that didn't go our way that did in game 1. We had some guys that had some bloop singles, some infield hits that could have easily gone the other way, and then in game 2 we had a line out to get doubled off to end the inning. I kept running us out of innings trying to get something going, but that's just, if that's going to be our identity, we got to stick with it. So.
The good news is the guys were able to score 3 in the 6th, 3 in the 7th, including a walk-off single by John Mark Grissom that gave you that 6-5 win. You look at the pitchers in this one, Cam Patterson gets his first start, 3 1/3, 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 of those earned, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. Lucian Walker, an inning and a third, he gave up 2 runs, 1 of those was earned on 2 hits, 3 strikeouts. The win goes to Caleb Flynn, his first collegiate win of his career, 2 1/3 scoreless, 1 hit, 1 strikeout. You went to Flynn in a big moment. You needed that strikeout. He was able to get it and then just pitch 2 more masterful innings there. But I think all the pitchers did really well. Maybe not the sharpest stuff from CPAT, but again, with it being his first start, that's just stuff that he can build on.
Yeah, over the break, he was just trying to make sure he was fully healthy. We held him back after the first 2 games just to make sure of that. And then I think the story of our pitching all weekend, or the whole 4-game set, was our bullpen. I think everybody came in. They started pounding the strike zone. With MT getting his first, Ty closing it out, not making it interesting. And then you got Lucian Walker punches out the first 2 he sees out of the bullpen. And then you got Caleb Flynn. I mean, there's no better welcome back for him. Nobody who deserved it more either. So I was happy to see that. And makes you more comfortable putting them in those types of situations moving on forward.
Yeah, I think Lucian Walker, one of the most intimidating things I think is Lucian is he's about 6'6", 210, and when you see that coming off the mound and it's coming right at you, I think as a hitter, it kind of makes you hesitate for a second.
He's releasing it really close to the plate, so it kind of gives it that higher velocity look than what it actually may be.
Yeah, and 3 hits each from Trey Davidson, Bradley Hanlon, 2 from Bryson Jones, John Mark Grissom, and a hit as well from Brian Travis. He kind of helps stir things there, and Evan Holyfield as well too. So it kind of feels like every little button that you press with guys coming off the bench really paid off for you in those 2 games.
That's the glories of having good depth on your bench. There's a lot of guys, like I said earlier in the year, I said we have more than 9 guys that deserve to be in our starting lineup, and I think we have a really good group that doesn't, lose interest if they're not in that starting 9. They stay locked in and they're ready when they're called on.
Yeah.
So.
And then on Tuesday, you went over to their place. You won game 1, 6-4. I think talking to you and talking to some of the guys, this may have been the best arm that you saw all week. Saw a really good arm. The kid, I think, had 10 strikeouts in their season opener. But they scored 1 in the first, 1 in the third. They're holding a 2-0 lead in the fourth until Donovan Moore gets a little bit of a hanging slider that he put over the fence, made it 3-2. They scored 2 in the fourth. That was all the scoring that they did because we scored 1 in the fifth and 2 in the seventh, and that made it 6-4. And that's really how you get there. Talk about how your guys, again, able to overcome some early adversity, found a way to get a lead, gave it up, but were able to battle back and get it back again.
Well, I guess first tip of the cap goes to Cohen Weinhofer, I think. With how good that other arm was, I think some of the attention got taken away from Cohen, which he had some electric stuff too. And I think they were just trading strikeouts for a while, and it was a pitcher's duel. And our guys, like I said, in the dugout, I said, you can't get starstruck by how good a pitcher is. You have to want every bit of the fight. And so don't worry about how good that guy is. Worry about, hey, how much pressure can I put on him? Can we keep making him uncomfortable? And Donovan Moore did a great job, took advantage of one mistake, and next thing you know, we had the lead. And so it's our guy. I think our offense is too good not to make something happen. We just got to stick with it and not press.
Yeah. Evan Holyfield led the way at the plate. He went 2 for 3, a hit each from Brady White, John Mark Grissom, Donovan Moore, and Bryson Jones. Brady White's 1 hit was a solo home run as well too. So he got on the home run board as well too. Several guys on that home run board now, all with 1. You just mentioned it. Your starting pitcher was Weinhofer. He didn't get the win in this one, but he went 3 in the third, gave up 5 hits, 4 runs, all earned, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. Kavian Griffith came in, gave you 2/3 of an inning that was scoreless. Wes White came in, gave you 3 innings. He got the win, got his first one of the year. 1 hit across 3 innings, no runs, 5 strikeouts. Anytime you have 13 strikeouts combined across 3 pitchers, you like your odds of winning that game.
Absolutely, especially with a lineup as good as Delgado's. I think they were tough to strike out over that 4-game set, but our guys have some really good stuff, and they were able to get ahead and then make sure that they're controlling the tempo over the hitter. And so that was a big part of it. I think the biggest part was Kavian Griffith coming in a really big spot and limiting the damage. That was an inning that I think they got runners on early with no outs, and we were able to just limit it to 2. So I felt like we almost won that inning. Even though we did give up the lead, it was a situation that could have been a lot worse than what it was.
And then, obviously, the final game, this is the one that you lost 3-2. You took the lead early in this one, actually scored a run in the third. They scored 2 in the third. You scored 1 in the fourth to tie it, and then they were able to, as you mentioned it, just got a couple little cap shot singles, cap shot hits that gave them a run in the sixth, and then they were able to get a diving catch against us to end the game, and that made it 3-2. Your thoughts overall on this one? And, obviously, you're not going to win them all, Maybe it doesn't feel as bad that you lost game 4 in a 4-game series against a really good Delgado team. But your thoughts on this one and how it just, like you mentioned earlier, Delgado had to play a perfect game to beat us, and they did.
And I'm going to probably get a little bit annoying, keep saying, I know our guys saying controlling what we can, but our attitude, our effort was where it needed to be. We were competing that whole time. Their pitcher was pitching really well. He was able to get 6 innings and under a really good pitch count, and so he was able to be efficient. As far as velocity, it wasn't what we had seen from the first 3 guys, but he was able to control in and out, being able to mix it, and they had some really good catches, like you said, the diving catch that ended the game. It seemed like everything went right for them to be able to win it, and it wasn't a situation where we beat ourselves, so it's just, it's something I can live with. We got a really good start from Blackwell again, and so that was really good to see from him.
1 hit each from Bryson Jones, Avery Griffin, Bradley Hanlon, Donovan Moore, Hayes Abear, and Evan Holyfield. And you just mentioned it, Tanner Blackwell, TB, 4.2 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. Ty Blakeney, made an appearance, has had a walk on there. MT Breland took the loss in this one with an inning, gave up 1 earned run with 2 hits, 2 strikeouts. Nash Sturdivant came in and got the last out as well, too. So I wouldn't say that any of these guys pitched badly in this one. You just mentioned it. TB pitched well. I think all the guys pitched well. Unfortunately, they just made a few little extra plays here and there.
Yeah, and TB, great start. That's been pretty much – he's becoming Mr. Reliable as well, and I'd love for our whole pitching staff to know exactly what I'm going to get from him. Biggest part, I think, was MT coming in a 2-0 count and being able to punch the guy out that he saw to get us out of that inning, runner in scoring position, I believe. And then getting us that next inning, it was 2 cap shots that it wasn't good contact and they fall through. And that's where you say, the ball kind of fell their way a little bit. And it's some tough luck, and there's nothing you would change. There's not a different pitch call you would have, so it makes it a little bit easier to deal with.
All right, and then now this upcoming weekend, this Friday and Saturday, you're going to play a couple of doubleheaders against Mineral Area. What do we know about that bunch coming in? I know that's a team that took a couple from Southwest. I know they've been playing with their hair on fire. They've been playing a lot of our opponents that we'll see later on in conference play. But what do we know about that bunch coming in?
It's going to be an extremely talented group. We're going to see a lot of really good arms again, some really good pieces in their lineup, and it's always a different style of play that you see those teams coming from the Midwest. But they're always excited to come down here, myself included. I was one of those guys. Anytime we could go down south, it's like they've been let out of a cage. And so expect that team to have a ton of energy coming in, and they're looking to win 4 ball games like we are. And so it's going to be 4 really good ball games that I expect to be very close and well played.
Well, hopefully the next week when we talk to you, we're talking about 4 more Wolves wins. Again, lots of good, exciting things happening for Wolves baseball. They go 3-1 in a 4-game set against Delgado, win the first 3, drop the last one. They've got another 4-game set, all of them at home this time against Mineral Area on Friday and Saturday. Both sets are at 12-3. So not doing anything this weekend. Come on out to the ballpark. It's going to be beautiful weather. Might have a touch of rain coming in near the end of the Saturday game. But we're going to get them in before that rain gets here.
All right.
Don't forget, we've also got basketball at home this Thursday, hosting Meridian. Softball is on the road at Gulf Shores this weekend. Have a pair of games on Friday and Saturday as well, too. Tennis is also playing this weekend as well, too. Those are all on the road. That will wrap up our coaches show this week. Lots of action going on for Wolves Athletics, especially in the month of February, as you can tell. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Kevin Kyzar, your Sports Information Coordinator, and we'll talk to you next week.